Don't
everybody? How
say
you doing?
stupid stuff. Don't say. Okay, just getting into that mindset.
All right, good morning. What's up, everybody? It is Monday, September 22nd, coming at you. We got Cory, the caveman Connors.
He's back
live. Yeah, you're back, buddy. Good to see you. You're in
Vermont, right?
Sustainable Packaging Podcast.
Yes, Vermont was amazing. Podcast is going great. Yeah, what a week. I'm excited to talk about it.
That's awesome, man. And then of course we got Adam, the Pale Man Peak. He's coming live.
I can't obviously figure out the lighting and video combination.
It's the lighting. It's
literally every time I start up my computer. Freaking reset. And I don't know how to fix it.
That's good luck.
Yeah, it's like an old timey.
He's from the 20s. What was packaging like in the 20s, Adam?
Yeah.
Let me tell you what, we had none of this newfangled plastic.
How's your sticker sales going back in there?
So good. Wait, I don't know how to. Where do I go on my thingy here to reset it? Backlit. Wow. Hello.
Enough.
Go to normal. I don't know.
What's up?
Ooh, that looks good.
Clayton.
Hey, Clayton.
Thanks. Hey, the shirts came in finally, Clayton.
All right.
I'm gonna nice some shirts sometime this week once I figure out what time zone I'm in.
The Label King flannel is a nice touch.
Thank you.
All right, man. So what are we covering today? We got California just lost one of the biggest PET recyclers again.
Right?
It happens quite a bit now. $100 million facility. It's gone up in smoke. But if you think it doesn't really affect you and your day to day or your packaging sales or anything that you're doing in packaging, it really does. So I don't know.
I was waiting for like this great line, and you're just like, if you don't think that it impacts you,
dun, dun, dun.
Buckle up,
it
buddy.
really does, man.
We'll sell you the whole seat. You only need the edge. Sunday.
All right, Cory. So what? All right, dude. So how does let's kind of jump into this. We got this facility closed down. It's rPlanet. Letter R, Planet. What?
Great name.
What happened?
Interesting. I think what we've been talking about for years is plastic recycling is not profitable. It doesn't make financial sense yet until recycled resins and recycled flake is very valuable, until there are subsidies for it, until all of these things come through with EPR. I don't think it's a feasible system yet. And that's the problem, is people can buy virgin resin for much less expensive, and it's cleaner, it's cheaper, it's readily available. So why would they buy recycled content? Because without these laws forcing them to use recycled content, they're not going to unless they think it's the right thing to do, which a lot of people are doing. Don't get me wrong, but it's a very difficult thing for thermoform trays, which are very inexpensive material.
Yeah. So Cory, like, is recycling dead?
I don't think it's dead. I think it's hurting very badly financially, and I think that's our responsibility as a community to make it profitable, because it's the right thing to do. We need to do it more and make it so it's accessible to everyone, profitable, easy to do, and these MRFs are getting so incredibly high tech that I would think that the sortation process is getting more efficient with AI tech and all of these different materials and machines. Yeah. But for some reason, the equipment to recycle the product is very expensive. It's not as efficient.
Yeah. Well, that's part of it, right? So even though there's new tech and new AI and new sorting equipment, nobody's paying to buy this equipment to bring it in and retrofit their facility at an added cost for a product that the price isn't increasing at the same time. And then of course, um, because of all trade and everything that's happening, Mexico is no longer purchasing PET from the U.S., or at least their demand has greatly decreased, which means we've got less packaging or less materials that are going out of the country, and we've kind of got to depend on it here internally, and we don't necessarily use as much as we were exporting.
Right.
I think the problem is really highlighted with I heard a person at Circularity when I went up to Seattle for the Circularity conference, and she ran a recycling facility, and she was like, listen, just like Cory was saying, we can't invest in something that we don't know the long-term viability of economically. And so there was like pressure around like polypropylene recycling. And she's like, sure, now maybe polypropylene is needing to be recycled, but that could change tomorrow. And the lead time for all this equipment to retrofit my facility to do all this stuff, this is costing millions of dollars. And then when you see a company like rPlanet in California, which has an EPR bill proposed saying we don't see enough of a future here to continue to invest in this, I think it's a massive issue. The economic imbalance of recycling right now has to be addressed. And I think, and this was something that Ryan Shai brought up when we were from Nobelis at Label Expo. He was talking about flexible packaging and sustainability of flexible packaging. He said, I think it has to be addressed at a federal level if we're going to do anything, because state by state EPR laws, while they're good, are not enabling the companies that have to go get investment money and investment. They're not enabling them to do the types of investment to
Not
make
fast enough, right?
such that it can keep up with the process of creating plastic from fossil fuels. It's pretty easy to create plastic from fossil fuels, which means it's less expensive to do so. So therefore, like aluminum or paper takes a lot to make the virgin paper, make virgin aluminum. And so recycling makes a ton of sense. Plastics is just not there economically. And I think through the U.S. Plastics Pact and Jonathan Quinn and Marku and our friends are doing an awesome job there. There's a lot of positive momentum going, but this is tough news.
It's taking way too long, and that's why they don't have the time to wait, right?
Yeah. So then if you're in California, they shut this down, and these guys were vertically integrated, right? So they're sorting, recycling, selling, like the whole process, which you think would make the most sense, right? Because now you're not having to sell too; you're just purchasing, and then you're selling, a finished product, versus just working on the recycling process. You would think that would be the one that's going to have actual profitability happening because it's kind of built in. But since they're closing, you've also had what is it? Lonica that shut down. Ionica shut down. Renewcell, CleanFlex. Like these companies are pulling back. Even Shell is pulling back in terms of, and there's a benefit to them because they're selling raw materials. But if you're in California, you've only got 4 reclaimers left, and if there's not a reclaimer in your city, then what's happening to that product? I mean, it's going to landfill.
Right.
But nobody's driving it 6 hours to a reclaimer because obviously they're not going to be able to handle the volume. They're built just for the local volume, so that's kind of an issue as well.
Yes. And I would say that this may sound like, oh, this is really good news for other materials, but the answer is no, because of the value and efficacy of plastic in the packaging industry is still there. The cost is still low and the value proposition is still high. Now, of course, there's some cases where people can make switches, or they can down gauge or whatever it is. Like there's still good things to be done, but it's not like this is good news for the paper industry because plastic recycling is struggling. It's like this is just bad news all around, I think, for the entirety of the industry.
Imagine the cost of uh, uh, recycled content now. Once EPR laws actually do come to fruition, and you have a requirement of 20% or 30% recycled content in your plastic tray, imagine that cost of recycled material, or how difficult it's going to be to get it because there's just none available.
You nail it, right? So it's expensive now. If everybody's pulling for that material and you don't have the recycling facilities to produce it in terms of pushing it, the cost of that's going to go higher and you're going to have shortages. So,
but that can create that value that we're talking about, right? So the pull of it into the stream creates the value. The problem is, I think, because the state EPR laws are only state by state right now in the US, those can be changed and manipulated. And so, yes, the demand is going to be there, but at what level is the demand going to be there? You know, I know that Cory loves Oregon, but the volume of people in Oregon and the suburb of Washington, the volume of people in Oregon and Maine and Colorado might not make it so that this is going to be enough to swing the cost structures so that it can start to make sense.
So to Joe's question, is there a way to incentivize more recycling?
Yes, lots of ways. There's lots of levers to pull. There's deposit return schemes, there's things like that for the consumer. But then what about the industry? Does industry even want to deal with it? Because is it valuable? And the answer is not right now. It's a TBD situation. So we need to see which laws actually get passed, which parts of those laws actually stick. They're changing daily with, okay, we're going to change this percentage. We're going to fix this. We're going to make, talk about compostables. They still don't know what's technically compostable. There's lots of changes coming, but there are ways to encourage. And I think the number one is with the wallet, right? We need to make it profitable.
So if you're a brand or a startup and you're looking to move into plastics, or are you looking to move out of plastics? Like, is this the point where people start shifting into glass and paper? What happens?
No, it's not. And the reason I say no is because of the cost structure of what's that?
Not B. Yo, B, what's up?
Did I call you B?
Yeah, go ahead.
I don't think so. It's because glass and paper and aluminum tend to be, not always, obviously, but if you're looking to replace plastic, those tend to add costs. And so,
and often weight,
and shipping. And so if you're a brand and you are looking at some other pressures coming in terms of maybe it's wage increases and inflation and stuff like that you're trying to manage your own margins, I don't think that the answer is going to be, let's move to glass because it seems like it's the best thing to do. Yeah. And let's increase our costs and let's try to sell this at a higher price point. Now, maybe glass is the right move for a brand. There's plenty of brands that are in glass for various reasons. But if you're already in plastic and you are doing things successfully in plastic, I don't think you're just going to make a move to paper or glass because it is the better thing to do for the environment. I just don't see that happening currently. Maybe I'm wrong.
All right. So then what about labeling?
Oh,
can you still label?
Sticker City.
Not your labeling. Can you still call it recyclable if there's no system to recycle it?
That's a great question.
You have to call it recyclable, but sorry, there's no system to
technically recyclable, right? There's such a gray area there.
Yeah. So just looking at a comment here from Jim, almost all companies using PCR are having sourcing. One of them, the largest extruders in the U.S. So you've got your own supply chain. This is super long, but yeah, what's the future going to look like when all the brands start looking for the same materials? And I think that's the challenge that people have to start addressing now before more of these companies shut down, because you're going to have this shutdown, and you're going to have this big demand to draw, and we're going to have to import.
Right.
Right.
Import recycled content. Right.
Yeah.
Which is not the sustainable choice. Right.
Or just pay the fine.
Yeah. Or just pay the fine. But, but again, we have the means to do this, but we're just not supporting it at the moment. When we're going to need it, we're going to have to import. And to import something that we have is, like Cory said, it's stupid.
Now, can we go back to the labeling question? Because I love labels. But I know that's not what you're asking. So there are guidelines to what you can put, and I think that is a controllable thing for us in terms of, the FTC has their green guides, and that can be adjusted on the fly. So you could go tell a brand, hey, this is no longer, you can't say this is recyclable, or you can't say, please recycle.
No, what's going to happen is
recycle other stuff. Sure.
Karen from Wichita is going to sue Nestle for putting recyclable on something when there's no local system.
Or Adam from Salt Lake City, because 5 kids to feed, for putting. Have you guys noticed, though? I think we might have won. I have not been seeing infinitely recyclable on cans much any longer. I think we actually did it.
I see it all over the place.
Is it still out there?
It is.
I got the tattoo on my shoulder. So.
It's there forever.
I knew that you were going to be infinitely recyclable because of your.
It matches the recycle symbol with the PP that you've got as a tramp stamp.
Yeah, that's.
It's very
funny. But I do think that you could see a lawsuit, right? But I think that's the easiest thing for us to adjust right now is how do we communicate what should go to a landfill and what should go, what is something that we can do to help these MRFs, getting to Chris's question, to be successful in streamlining what should be recycled and what shouldn't be. So what was the question?
Yeah, what are the top 3 ways to help MRFs succeed and survive today?
Money.
Automation, AI, sortation, equipment, and helping upstream with them, providing them through consumer education as to what is actually recyclable, what should go in the blue bin. And that's going to happen that's supposed to happen with EPR, is there's supposed to be funding for consumer education. Which I think is a really, to Chris's point, how can we help them? We stop sending them stuff that they can't recycle, like soft films and things like that. A lot of these MRFs can't sort those through the system.
But even if we stopped sending all of that material and we only sent PET, and everybody was doing a bang up job of separating and sending just PET to these recycling centers, it's still more expensive than the virgin. Right.
There's still no end market, right?
That's the challenge.
I think that the a cleaned, clear PET is pretty close. And I know, Evelio, that your dog agrees with me, because whenever I've met your puppy, I totally agree. And your dog can talk, which is awesome. But yeah, I mean, I do think that there are some plastic materials that if we could sort them and have them properly cleaned, and maybe even using industrial clear PET waste, that does have value. That has a pretty comparable price point, at least the last time I looked, which was honestly maybe a year ago. There are certain materials, but the problem is you can't just educate 300 million people to only put that thing in. I mean, that's never going to happen. People put car transmissions in the recycle bin. Literally, it's nuts.
Education only goes so far.
We can't rely on educating the entire population of the United States to fix recycling, because that's a losing battle, in my opinion. We can do our best. Obviously,
it's not a priority to outside of this group, outside of us.
Yeah.
Let me lean in here. No. Outside of this group, it's not really a priority. Most people have other things to worry about. They've got cost of food going up. They've got cost of energy going up. Thanks to AI, they've got all sorts of things that are changing. Where they put their trash, not top priority.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
But that's where the AI sorting and stuff like that could come into place, where it's like, just put everything into one bin and then let us figure it out would be incredible. That would be the simplest thing. Or like Alan says, just arbitrarily price fix and break the law and make virgin plastic and no longer subject to the whims of capitalistic demand. But I don't think that that's going to happen either, right? Like, I don't think we can just say, like, let's set a minimum price for plastic.
Well,
but EPR will affect that with
all right,
absolutely.
But gas prices are going up, right? So obviously, raw materials are going up. Like, at what point does a barrel of oil have to be that will kind of offset that cost?
No idea.
Cory, I know you're an expert in this.
Well, Evelio, actually, I don't know that, but I don't. My understanding of plastics industry is that they are hedging their bets with plastic material, with meaning the oil industry is seeing that as a future source of income growth as electric vehicles take off. So I don't think they have encouragement to decline. Hey, Jared.
Yeah, that's a whole other conversation. But if you want to get an electric car, by the way, you have approximately 8 days to take advantage of the government subsidies before those expire. I will be shocked in the future to see if electric vehicles.
Oh, I see what you did there. Shocked.
Overtake
electric.
Overtake compostable engines.
Compostable cars.
That would be the answer, right? If we could just take our plastic and dump it into our car, and then I would just
Evelio's friends doing that. It's pretty awesome.
Jim's asking, what percentage of the cost will consumers actually accept of sustainable packaging in the end? Will technology meet the challenge?
What do they say they're going to take?
What will we force them to take? I mean, if I'm going to buy a dozen eggs and eggs are $7 because they're all $7, and I can either choose between the PET case or the molded fiber case, and the molded fiber case for whatever reason is $8, I'm probably just gonna spend $7. As prices go up at some point,
most people will do that
because you need a sustainable home, and sustainable by being able to afford living.
Yeah. Well, look at Costco. I mean, follow our friend Hugh Curtis's example and go to Costco and look around at everything is packaged for the most part in plastic, and Costco's doing great. It's not like people are
not only are they in plastic. We had this conversation with the Costco guys. Was that your pallet could be huge, but you only fit this much product on it, and the rest of it is just air. Like, there's way excess packaging on purpose.
Right. And so people are, and I'm not saying that Costco is unsustainable. I'm just saying that, like, that is where I care about recycling. I care about packaging. I talk about it all the time. And I go to Costco probably every week. We have 8 people that live in my house. It's the most cost-effective way for us to feed 8 human beings in a house. Tends to be Costco, Sam's Club. If I went to Whole Foods and Natural Grocers for that, we would need more sponsors. For me to afford,
Adam.
If you would like to sponsor the package, I don't know. It's the reality of it, right?
Dude, I had my mind blown this weekend because of Costco. I didn't go there, but my kids were making a sandwich. And they're like, we hate this bread. And I bought this over at my Kroger, and I buy the same bread at Costco. We just run out. I'm like, dude, it's the same bread as Costco. They're like, no, Costco slices are thinner.
Hmm.
I'm like, what are you talking? Like, that doesn't even make any sense. So I had a bag of Costco bread that was just like the heel, because they don't eat the heel, and I'm forced to eat the heels as a dad, which is kind of lame. And I opened
Part
them
of
up.
our job.
Dude, it's part of our job. The Costco bag and the Kroger bag hold the exact same weight of bread, but the Costco bag has like 26 slices, and the Kroger one had like 16.
Huh.
Wow.
Which was
I had no idea.
insane. So you feel like you're
Kroger
getting
is
more.
more
It's
gluten
actually
in your diet.
Dude, for sure. But it was like, I think like each slice was either 120 calories from Kroger or 100 calories from Costco because of the size difference.
That's
That's
my new
it's-
diet plan.
No, for sure. But it's just like, again, you think you're getting more. It's like, no, you're getting the same crap. They've just diced it up differently. So you
But
feel
you
like
are
you're
getting more, though. I mean, if you have 2 loaves of bread, you have 52 slices versus
32.
36, whatever it is, then you are going to make more sandwiches with the same volume of bread.
Great
It's actually
point.
pretty genius from Costco.
If you're doing lots of lunches for the kids, that adds up fast.
It does, but it's just nuts. I'm like, oh, who does this? That's so crazy.
Yeah.
But great stuff. We got last comment here from Alan Sayers. Alan Sayers says,
Yes.
make plastics valuable with a competition that makes you want to recycle, like a code on a plastic packaging. Yeah, you can gamify it somehow. I think that's
That'd be
definitely
fun.
an option.
It's a great idea.
And I think that like the Scrap app
Mhm.
would be an amazing way to do that if we could close the loop at the recycling facility. I think that's
Yeah.
the key.
Mhm.
Is
Thank you for your guts there.
how do I know that Cory Connors put this PET
Yeah.
into his recycling stream and he won the $1,000? That would be a
I
fun.
got to spend some time with Mikey from Scrap in Vermont, and we talked about that. His system can actually do that now. It can figure out where the material ended up because of the scanners at the MRF. And that's really exciting and amazing. And to be able to provide that data to a business is going to be so valuable, and frankly, going to be totally necessary eventually.
So if you're one of those news organizations that's putting Apple trackers into plastic bottles and then complaining that it's not landing in the landfill, then you should use Scrap.
Right.
Yes.
SCRAPP, the app where you can scan it and then you can see where it ends up, right? Because you don't have to put additional materials that are not going to separate properly.
Can I put a little caveat here? It's because you're going to scan it with a UPC code, and that UPC code is going to be static. It's not going to say, did you as an individual recycle this exact piece of plastic or this exact can and it made it to the recycler. It's going to be, at least from what I understand, it's very important collective data on how much of
but
that.
It's tracking your fingerprint.
It's not. It is not. Conspiracy theorists, calm down.
It knows what
All
you
right, guys.
That would be pretty crazy. It's like, boop, boop.
Thank you so much for joining us today on another episode of Packaging Today Show with Cory the Caveman and Adam the Pale Man and myself, Evelio Mattos. Do us a favor, go follow, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and catch us on Wednesday where we're going to do Can We Solve It? Where you ask us questions, and if we can't answer it, you want a shirt, do us a favor, keep commenting on here. We'll keep checking it out. We'll keep answering any questions you've got, and share this with a friend.
Shirts are going out this week.
Let's go. All right, guys. Thanks so much. We'll see you Wednesday.